In 1994, Bob Kerry and I co-chaired a commission on entitlement reform. The commission agreed that Social Security and Medicare weren't sustainable as they were. It produced beautiful charts in 4 colors to make the case. Nothing happened. Entitlements, principally Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, now account for 61% of federal spending and are largely responsible for our national debt. In 1994, the national debt was $4.7 trillion. We thought that that was alarming. This year, it is $21.8 trillion. In 10 years, it will be $34 trillion. Why is nothing done? The answer is politics. Social Security and Medicare are the third rail. Touch them and you're dead. Soon after I left the Senate, Pete Peterson, the patron saint of the Concord Coalition, and I made a presentation in Kansas City. The audience was elderly. Pete had with him our beautiful charts in 4 colors. Together, we made an absolutely take-out, dynamite presentation. The audience of elderly people responded with head-shaking disbelief. We had a question and answer period, and to put it mildly, it didn't go well. The basic question was, what do you mean cut Social Security? Why not cut waste, fraud, and abuse? Cut that, not us. And after 15 minutes of being beaten up by these older people, Pete turned to me and said, "You take over, Jack. I'm going to the airport." A similar audience faces every candidate for federal office in every campaign. From every candidate, the answer is a pledge. I will not touch Social Security and Medicare. And the list of entitlements grows. Yesterday, it was prescription drug benefits. Tomorrow, it may be free college education and Medicare for all. More money from the government is a political winner. The one hope for sanity is to appeal to the reason and patriotism of the American people based on irrefutable economic facts. Enter the Concord Coalition. No organization better tends the flickering flame of fiscal responsibility. The Paul Tsongas Economic Patriot Award honors its recipient for outstanding work in focusing attention on the fiscal crisis. No one is more deserving of the award than Jeff Fox. He is working with the coalition to sponsor research on the development of an economic growth agenda that is fiscally responsible. This is not the sort of research that will sit on a shelf. It will be the basis for a roadshow of policy forums conducted by the coalition beginning next year. The goal is to bring fiscal policy from obscurity, where it now resides, into the bright light of public attention. I hope you will indulge me in a personal word about Jeff Fox. We are from the same hometown. and I'm enormously proud to present this award to him. In St. Louis, the Fox family is synonymous with good works, which they do with generosity and remarkable energy. Jeff is CEO of Harbor Group, a very successful and demanding business. Among his many communities endeavors, he has just finished his work as co-chair of the United Way campaign in St. Louis. If you want a challenge, try to find free time in Jeff's schedule. That he has committed his resources, talent, and energy to the cause of the Concord Coalition makes him especially deserving of our recognition. It is my honor to present the 2018 Paul E. Tsongas Economic Patriot Award to my friend, Jeff Fox.
Wow. It's thank you, Senator Danforth. It's an honor to be on the stage with you. You are a man that our country and our state in particular has been so lucky to have. The difference that you've made in our world and our country is just incredible. And so thank you for all that you've done through your whole life works to make this a better place. I'd also like to thank all my family and friends who flew up from St. Louis to join me and make this event all the more meaningful, especially my wife Lota and my daughter Elizabeth. And thank you to the Concord Coalition, particularly for this remarkable award. I am so deeply honored to receive it. For someone like me who has spent his life primarily out of the public eye, to be given an honor like this is hard to believe. To follow in the footsteps of Pete Peterson, your father, Alan Greenspan, John McCain, Alice Rivlin, and many, many more is surreal for me. When Senator Danforth and Bob Bixby called to tell me about the Patriot Award, I was shocked. I thought, what have I done to deserve such a prestigious award and to be in the company of such accomplished past recipients? Actually, I'm still trying to figure that out. To the best of my understanding, though, this award is due to a project I'm working on with the Concord Coalition, a project that began for me when I became very concerned about the level of debt our politicians were putting on our nation. As a businessman, I knew that just like a company, a nation can only handle so much debt. I began to realize that in the political system we have, a politician gets rewarded, reelected, by giving something to the constituents, even if for short-term gain the future is destroyed. As I watched our debt grow, I knew that it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when our future would collapse under this burden. So at that point, I began working on trying to get individuals elected who I thought this problem and their work they would work to overcome it. But as we all know, for many years now, the problem has only been getting worse. Both political parties have shown us that the only thing that they really know how to do, is to add to the problem, add to the debt. It's hard to make the tough decisions and get reelected. And as we know, one of the definitions of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect something to change. So a few years ago, it dawned on me that if the politicians can't get this done by themselves, somebody's going to have to try to help them fix it. And as I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, I think I was especially susceptible to the wisdom behind a quote I once came across from one of our state's most famous native sons, Mark Twain. Citizenship, Twain said, is what makes a republic. Monarchies can get along without it. Citizenship is what makes a republic. Well, I want to live in a republic, and I want my kids and grandkids to live in a republic. I also want to live in a country that's prosperous and forward-looking, like the one I grew up in. Our generation has a responsibility to the next to leave our country in better shape than we received it. And ladies and gentlemen, we are failing miserably. We need a new paradigm, a paradigm in which citizens like me and you and millions of others who are concerned about our debt and other problems get involved to help the politicians break us out of the traps that we put ourselves in and that they've put us in, and thereby help the country break out of the trap we all find ourselves in today. We need to educate the politicians and our citizens about why this debt problem is ultimately the biggest strategic risk to our nation, and about the fact that economic growth can solve it. We need to help them with what I call the roadmap to prosperity, a roadmap that our elected officials can actually implement because it's based on growth, not contraction, and therefore politically feasible. This growth can be fueled by policies that allow millions of people to immigrate into our country and that favor those that we think will help our nation grow. Educated people, entrepreneurs, engineers, and the like, but also people who may not have these qualifications but want to work, like my grandfather, who came here from the Ukraine with nothing but a burning desire to breathe free and to make a good life for himself and his family. Also, this growth could be fueled by strategic investment that focuses on productivity improvement. Furthermore, we need to invest heavily in our human capital. We need much more aggressive and results-oriented workforce training and retraining, especially considering an economy that is changing at an exponential rate. I don't think we'll even recognize our country in 20 years, and it's imperative that we help the people that inevitably will be left behind. We also need a less expensive healthcare system. I believe we can accomplish this by having system-wide transparency on cost and quality, as well allowing the patient to financially benefit by saving cost. How many of us even know what our healthcare costs or what one of those procedures costs? We don't know. We have to know. We have to be able to be involved in that decision. Finally, we need a sustainable Social Security system. Our current system is broken. This year alone, we'll spend $85 billion in debt because we don't have the money to pay for Social Security. Time is of the essence. It can be fixed, but the longer we wait, the tougher the medicine will be. Now, I'm proud to say that all 5 of these initiatives have been combined into an integrated platform for growth and are being written by a group of experts led by the Concord Coalition. In fact, many of the people involved in these studies are in the audience today, and this time I'd like to just recognize them. Alice Rivlin from the Brookings Institution, Lauren Adler from the Brookings Institution, Mark Goldwyn from Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, Ben Giddis from American Action Forum, Ron Atkinson from Information Technology and Innovation Foundation, Maya McGinnis from the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, Douglas Holtz-Eakin from the American Action Forum, Jacqueline Varas from American Action Forum, Joe Antos from American Enterprise Institute, Bob Lerman from the Urban Institute, Pam Lopez from the Urban Institute, and Dan Kuhn from the Urban Institute. Not to add any pressure to them, but I personally can't wait for them to finish their work. So hurry up. So that we can break this paradigm that's been trapping our politics and our country for way too long. Then we can live up to Mark Twain's imperative that we fulfill our responsibility as citizens to keep this country a republic, and a successful one at that. That's the kind of country we all grew up in. And that's the kind of country I want to leave to our children and grandchildren. Thank you for this wonderful award. I will cherish it.